This Thursday is Thanksgiving, and I hope you are all able to celebrate safely with a couple of family members and loved ones. But it's also a really important political anniversary because on November 26, 1791, 229 years ago, George Washington convened the very first cabinet meeting. In the previous 2 years of his administration, Washington had tried to govern with the advisory options outlined to him in the Constitution. He tried to meet with the Senate to get their input on foreign affairs, but concluded that the senators were too inefficient to provide the timely, immediate feedback that both he and diplomacy required. Then Washington tried to get written advice from the department secretaries, but he discovered that some issues were too big and complex to speak to one advisor alone, especially when policies or events touched on matters of several departments. So Washington created the cabinet. The cabinet is not in the Constitution, and no additional legislation ever formed it. Instead, Washington created it to provide advice and support when faced with domestic rebellions, international crises, and constitutional questions. He needed the cabinet because the options outlined in the Constitution were simply inefficient. Sometimes the very best laid plans just don't quite work out. So why should we care all of these years later? The cabinet's persistent survival demonstrates that the presidency continued to evolve and expand long after it was drafted in Article 2 of the Constitution. The cabinet also reveals just how much of the executive branch is governed by custom and norm, which we have seen over the last 5 years, and especially since November 3rd, just how easy it is for presidents to disregard custom and norm when there isn't a powerful oversight mechanism in place. For example, no president has ever rejected the outcome of an election and refused to concede until now. Is it required by law that the president concedes? No, it is not. Does it make the transition smoother? Does it defend the legitimacy of the republic? And does it help citizens feel trust in the elections and government institutions? Yes, absolutely. But I think it's really important to remember that we can't understand our current political environment unless we understand where it started.